Hello, guys. Welcome on Greg and Chris. So let's talk. Today I would like to talk about the documentary of Michelle Obama on Netflix, and also I would like to bring my own insight about the upcoming books of Omid Scobie, which is Finding Freedom, regarding the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex. Okay, so when we start with the Michelle Obama's documentary on Netflix. Netflix, if you remember, her husband, former President Obama, had has a contract or a partnership with Netflix. Yes, and his wife has joined too, and this is where the documentary was launched. It was 2 weeks ago, and I've watched it this week on Netflix. It is quite interesting. It shows mostly how, how did her life went on from the moment her husband, or from the moment they have decided to campaign for the most or the highest position in a country, that is the presidency, till the moment they left the house, the White House, and when she has decided to tour the country to promote her book, which was titled Becoming. Yes. So in the documentary, what I've seen was that, okay, she's coming from, and she has always said it, that she's coming from a humble family. And what I really like about her upbringing was that her mother was always ready to answer all the questions. You know, when you're a parent, when your child start asking questions, okay, you're just like, ugh, you are trying to find some, let's say, child-friendly way of answering, or child-friendly answers, thinking that is only, I don't know, that is on the only way your child can understand what you try to convey. Yes, and but her mother wasn't like this. So her mother used to answer all the questions. She used to let them answer the questions, everything that was going on in their head, and passing through their head, and the thing that when they had any question, okay, their mother never actually, let's say, she never told them, okay, don't answer this. This is for children. I mean, this is not for children, or this is an adult talk. No, no, no. She did her best to answer. And one part of the video, her mother even said, yes, the most important thing was the way you were asking this. Okay, if you were asking it being boastful or whatever, you should be, you were sure that you will receive a spank, because let's not forget, I'm still an African American mother. So the discipline is still, and the respect, is still, let's say, is the foremost thing before answering or before asking your questions. But she never let them down. When they were asking questions, she did her best to answer them. She let them, let's say, have normal day-to-day life conversation when they were all dining with, her late father. And what I also took from that is that Mrs. Obama had a frustrated grandfather. Not because it was something in herself, no, it's because this is a feeling that many people, mostly in the United States, have faced and are still facing, when you know your potential, but you are surrounded by people who keep telling you that you do not deserve what you have. You that you are not entitled to anything nice or good, that you forget your place. We have now I'm addressing this also to the Sussex Squad family. The main problem, for example, sometimes I will I don't I don't think that I will digress, because if I decided to bring my own insight about this, is because it's related also somehow, some way, to the Sussex Squad. Not the Sussex Squad, but the Sussex family. That is the Duke and mostly the Duchess of Sussex. Because the main problem and why she has this situation with the gossipers, okay, calling themselves journalists in UK, is because they used to, there is that underlining tone that she doesn't know her place. She's no uppity, So this is the main thing. Okay, so the grandfather of Mrs. Obama had a bright spirit. We can see that, okay, the fruit never falls far from the tree. His granddaughter, okay, his grandsons have bright spirits. They are smart. I'm not saying that her parents are or were not smart. No, but her father, okay, was gifted. But he could have been, she said, he could have been anything in life. He could have been a doctor. He could have been a mathematician. He could have been, but he lived in that period of the history where, black people could not, let's say, apply for any work in the education, in the administration, in politics, or whatever, because of the time they were living in. And then her father grew up being someone very frustrated. And when you are frustrated and that you cannot express in words what or how you feel, let's say that till your last breath, you hate the world you are living in. In contrast, her father, the father of Mrs. Obama, loved everyone. But he didn't live long enough to see his children grow up, going to college, graduating, entering some prestigious places in American society or university. He didn't live enough to see his son-in-law or his future son-in-law becoming the president of the United States. But during the documentary, these are the highlighting moments for me, okay? And also, you have throughout these documentary videos of from when she was a baby, okay, through her childhood, her teenagehood, when she was sharing her room with her roommate, when she entered, she graduated, she met, or she had pictures with Barack Obama. You have several pictures showing her from the cradle till her adulthood, and still the haters are still saying, why is it that we don't have any picture of her being pregnant? Really? So you are only at peace when you see a black woman, okay, taking a picture, naked, being pregnant. At that moment, you feel like, okay, yes, she's really pregnant. Really? Because if you remember, they were starting the same narrative regarding Serena until she took that picture where she was naked and pregnant. And the only thing that they could say is that, oh, she's ugly, she looked like a man here with the wig and so on. But they couldn't say that she's not pregnant because the picture naked was there. So just to show you how the stupidity, is going, that's crazy. I just don't figure out how people can live in imbecility, be imbecile, and find it and adopt it as a lifestyle. Maybe you have a say. Let me know in the comments. But I saw this comment, after the documentary, but why is it that we don't have a picture of her being pregnant? Even if you had a picture of her being pregnant, you would have asked, but maybe she put something, under her clothes. We don't see anything. So just to tell you, we live in a world where, okay, whatever you do, people will always criticize you. So just live your life. And this, like I said in one of my videos, has always been the motto of my life. You cannot live your life, according to, let's say, the rules of someone else who knows nothing about you, okay, who actually doesn't care, but who feels happy when every morning you wake up and you're just like, oh, who will I hate this morning? I need to have a life. I need some people to reply back, to feel that I'm alive. Really. Let's move on. So, she had wonderful pictures. Seeing her brother, Craig, I was just like, we saw this. We have this comment, Sirata, when both of them, okay, they are, we are just like, gosh, Craig is actually, it's actually Michelle without her hair because they look so alike. They could be twins. We will just say, yes, they are twins. They have the same smiles, God is wonderful. God Almighty is wonderful. He can do the same thing, okay? And it just drew the same human being without hair and with hair. Oh, we are just like, gosh, okay. They have this almost the same height. They are very tall. I was just like, wow. Okay. And of course, as a baby mama, his mom was so, all smiling when her son was around, and Michelle was just like, ugh. She was just like, yes, Craig has always been the favorite. Whatever I do, I've been the first lady of the United States. What does she want? What does she want me to do more? My brother is always the favorite. So this was one of the funniest part in the documentary. And also, I like the fact that she highlighted one of her bodyguard. So just to tell you how empathetic they are. We usually say, tell me with who you mingle with, and I will let you know who you are. See, the Sussexes are so empathetic. Okay? They are so humane. They don't take anything for granted. Mrs. Obama could have just been like, okay, I sit, in the car, and I let those guys drive me and protect me and lost their life just to save mine and so on and so forth. No, she highlighted one of her bodyguards who has been with her for 12 years, and like she said, maybe even more, because he has been with her throughout Mr. Obama presidency, and even now that they are already out of the White House, not out, let's say now that they have left the White House, yes, he's still working for them. And I actually, it was quite funny when she had an exchange with him, and she was just like, guys, I should actually know where you keep your guns, so that if something happens, okay, I can still reach the gun, and then I can, save your ass. And the bodyguard was just like, you definitely can do that. You can definitely save us. So, yes, I'm just pinpointing, some, things, some, highlighting some things that actually I like during the documentary. The whole documentary is informative, okay? And I'm just doing a quick review, and maybe you let me know after, because I guess that most of you in the Sussex Squad have watched this, and you might have a say about that, yes? And also, actually, what was painful for me in the documentary is when she was narrating the road to the presidency. That is, for example, from the moment, Barack, her husband, decided to campaign, yes, for the presidency. They had to bring people where they used to live, and they came out of the house with their two little girls, and they were just like, we are the Obamas. Here we are, okay? So people were just discovering this, all black family, okay, snapping. And yeah, yes, by the way, my take on I think that somehow if United States let Mr. Obama becoming president, is because he was not he was not a descendant of slaves. This is what I think, okay? Maybe you can tell me otherwise in the comments, but this is what I think. I've always thought that if he was a descendant of slaves, they will never ever have allowed him to be president, because they know what they did. It's a little bit like in South Africa under apartheid, when Madiba became president. Many people, many boys, we used to call them boys, the Deutsch, and many of them wanted to leave because they didn't know what it would be. At the moment, they thought that the country will turn against it, because they always know what they do and they know what they did. And it's when the moment comes that, gosh, they are just like, we might be about to face history. Maybe what we did is coming back to bite us in the So I think that if he was a descendant of slaves, he would never have been president. But his father was coming from Kenya, but he was born in Hawaii, and he grew up a little bit everywhere. But he grew in Hawaii. It's part of United States and all this. So he might be coming from a Kenyan father, yes, but he was born and raised, in United States. And because his father was Kenyan, coming from Kenya, okay, they were just like, okay, he has no grudge against us. His father has okay. So this was just my 2 cents, okay, on this thing. So let's move on. So, and then after introducing the family, okay, to people, I remember in those days people had hard time to say Barack Obama as if it was something difficult. Barack, and so on and so forth. And at the moment he said, it's not a problem. You will remember my name with time. That guy has always been a visionary. So, and then the problem with people were Michelle Obama. She is the descendant of slaves. And she is a dark-skinned woman. And this was a problem, because this was just like, okay, it's like drinking wine with let's say 50% alcohol. Of course, I know it doesn't exist, but okay. And with, let's say, some, 1/4 of a glass of water, to kind of dilute this, and the glass of water was just like, maybe Obama inside. Mr. Obama, not his wife. So I think that the problem became her, because she was not just a random, fashion model coming there, staying 10 feet behind, and just zipping it and being like a stone face, looking all entitled. No, she had something to say, okay, because it is at the moment, okay, it was her country, and she was the face of America, and she had something to say. And as a descendant of slaves, she had something to say. She did, and she was, they saw that she was smart. She had a bright brain. She was not just a pot of I don't know what, just standing there. And I remember the speech where she said, for the first time in my life, I am proud of my country. Oh my goodness. At the moment when she said this, I was still in my home country, Cameroon. Oh gosh. All over the world, all black people all over the world, we didn't care about our origin, about our citizenship. We were so into the election, although we were far away, okay, miles away. And so we were following the campaign, mostly when they were the nominees of the Democratic Party. Oh, wow, it just went off the roof. When she said this, people who actually were afraid, okay, of seeing what they did coming to bite them, started saying, is Michelle Obama angry? Is that... That's funny. I mean, when you, some people, when they use some words, do they think that just a section of the population use these feelings? Like, for example, anger. When you say that, oh, is she angry? Is she this? You guys, are you never angry? Or when you are angry, you call it passionate? So, I mean, anyway, when it comes to hating in a stupid and imbecile way, logic just flows out of the window. We know that. So, when she said that, wow, you can see the documentary. In the documentary, she's just like, I think they replay that part where, the propaganda channel, the propagandist channel going on now in the United States was saying, is she angry? I mean, she is this, she is that, she is blah, blah, blah. You know which channel I'm talking about. There is only one channel, with his masses of ships. I'm still waiting for those ships to go outside and to breathe some air. But okay, let's not wish death on people. Let's move on. Gosh. So, you could see, I mean, as an outsider, you could feel pain, okay? Because when you hear, people were just like, okay, it looks like she has some chips, okay, on her shoulder. Which chip? I mean, let's follow a little bit their logics, okay? Is she angry? Angry for what? What makes you think that she's angry? And angry about what? Please explain. And does she have some chips on her shoulder? Which chip? Please explain. Maybe when you make them face their own, I don't know how to call it. Anyway, let's move on. I don't know. Thinking about those people, my IQ is dropping. My brain cells are burning. So let's move on. And she said that from that moment, and not to jeopardize her husband's position, she decided to stay behind and not to say anything. This is the same nonsense that we see going on with Meghan. When you are when your aura shines bright, they only dream about dimming it. Then they start gaslighting, okay? They start, let's say, promoting or pruning up the insecurities, okay? So that you should dim your light, and then so that they can feel more comfortable to keep doing what they usually do. So Miss Obama had to dim her light to make sure that her husband's position in the election campaign is not jeopardized. Okay, but you could see throughout the videos in the documentary that somehow she looked confused. She looked confused in some of the footage. In some of the footage, she looked confused. It's like a bird, whose wings are being, kept like in prison, or it's like you are you suffocate. You could see on her face that she suffocates. She didn't really. This is the impression I had, that because everything was, the spotlight was on her husband, she had things to say, but she had to keep them, under the rug, and just, containing herself. She had things to say. My goodness, she is, or she was, and she's still the face of America. That's the problem with United States. They don't want to bring that conversation on the table. The less you bring it on the table, the more it will remain under the table, which does not mean that he went out of the room. It is still there. So, the documentary in that during that part was quite, so she kept silent until, they announced that he won. And yes, from that moment, the phone started ringing, right there. And okay, the little, what I found cute at the moment was, I keep confusing their name. I think Malia is the eldest. Let me check. I always confuse those two ladies. Always. I wonder. I don't know sometimes who is Natasha or Sasha and who is Malia. It's crazy. But the youngest of their two daughters, she just came out like, she was just smiling to the whole crowd. I don't know if she knew what was going on. But of course, those two ladies have always been quite, smart enough. So she knew that it was an important moment for their daddy. And like Obama, Mrs. Obama said, one of the girls thought it was a party. Yes. And she told her father that, Daddy, I think that no one is coming to your party, because they were, on the road to the convention, to the rally. Sorry, I'm not quite acquainted with the American politics, so but let's say that to the road, on the road to the to the rally, the road was empty. So genuinely, one of the girls, they thought that, oh, Daddy, the road is empty. No one is going to your party. Oh gosh, poor you. And then, so the youngest was quite, she was, when she came on the scene, on the stage, was just like, waving at everybody. I found it quite cute, yes. And let's say that, gosh, at the moment, yes, it was quite, how can I put that? Yes, Sasha is the youngest. So Sasha, she came up and she was just like waving here and there, yes. And yes, and also during the documentary, we had a glimpse of the daughters speaking about, the campaign, that their mom, and their parents in general. And we also saw Malia, who is the eldest. She was having a conversation with her mom when her mom was, I think, signing books. That is, she was signing books. And Malia, yeah, she stood there talking to her mom. And when I watched that part, I was just like, yes, this is African family. I don't care. I don't really pay attention to the African American thing, but this is African family. She was just there, respectful. She was just like talking to her mom. For people who are just outside of the thing, they would think that her mom is not paying attention. No, her mom is paying attention. But as African people, when we speak to our parents, you just don't, okay? There are things that we don't do to our parents. Something that I most of the time see, mostly Caucasian families do. Because I prefer to precise Caucasian, because the rest of ethnicities, we don't do that. Either Asian, African, families, we don't, for example, a child, whatever your age, when you stand in front of your parents, you don't behave as if they were your friends. Your parents are never your friends. They they are your parents, and the boundaries are clear, okay? And be parents doesn't mean that enemies. No. When you speak to them, okay, you always address them respectfully. You lower your voice. You have a voice, yes, but you don't raise your voice over the voice of your parent. We never do that. We don't raise our voices in the house of our parents, in the presence of our parents. When we talk to our parents, okay, we don't shout or we don't speak louder than them. It's a lack of respect. I don't think that I think in Asian culture or any other non-Caucasian culture, that's it. You don't slam, okay? You don't slam the door when you leave the room. You don't. It's not. People will say that, oh, because you fear. No, you don't fear your parents. You respect. Because there is a big difference between fearing and respecting. We respect our parents. And for us, the word respect and the feeling of respect is deeper. It's deep. It's really deep. For example, I can speak. I can say that I will speak for most people. I don't know how it goes with the Asian culture, but if I base myself on the Arabic culture that I've seen so far, it is quite alike. So African culture, it's all the same. So for example, if you are a smoker, you never smoke in the presence of your parents. You don't do that. If you drink alcohol, you don't drink alcohol in the house of your parents. That's not feasible. You just don't do that. You don't do that. If, for example, you want to go to a party with your friends, of course that you can do that. But if it's to come back to the to the house of your parents, maybe in African American families, you bargain with your parents for a curfew after I don't know what. But oh my goodness. You don't enter the house of your parents after midnight. No way. If I talk now about African families on the African continent, midnight. Why? What happened for you to be in the house of your parents at midnight? Oh, my dear.
Yeah.
It's Greg coming to say hello. Oh,
Hello, everybody.
Ну что?
Делай, я хотел только спросить, как обед.
Так, обед. Я снимала рыбу.
Да, снимала, но сделай.
О, пожалуйста. Okay, where was I? Oh my goodness. Yes, I was talking about some things that we observe a lot, in African families. So watching Malia standing, by her mother's side, talking. You can see she has the freedom of speech, but just her posture shows her respect. Okay? And yes, this is the part. I'm just picking something. It's nitpicking, maybe, but picking, not nitpicking, because nitpicking is much more pejorative, negative. Okay, so what else struck me in the documentary? Yes, the brother of Mrs. Obama, when she dressed up for one of her, tour, regarding her book, Becoming. He saw his sister with, she had a belt, and I think it was a jumpsuit that she had with a belt, and he was just like, have you always wore the belt so high? And she was just like, what do you mean by that? And he was just like, I didn't say anything, I just think that is beautiful. And his mom was just like, So I think, I mean, yes, it is. He's the eldest, but when they interact, I always have the impression that Mrs. Obama, she's the eldest. I mean, that she's the elder sister, and I mean, but he and the mom is just there like, don't touch my son. My son is no. And Michelle was also saying that when I mean there is an invitation going on, even if they are in the White House for dinner thing. I mean, her mom is always like, where is your brother? Where is Greg? Where is and when she's with when she spends time in Greg's house, oh, she's just enjoying herself. Save me some wine, and Michelle is just like, gosh. My mom is having dinner in the White House. She's not satisfied. She's always looking for her son. So this family interaction, it was quite. It was heartwarming. Yes, I can say so. So, no, overall, and yes, they showed some snippet of her campaign, her campaign tour regarding the book, a little bit all over the United States, and it was always full, at least 15,000 people. It was crazy, and I mean, professional, yes, they selected a bunch of journalists. I really like what she said about regarding Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert, I'm sorry if I pronounce your name in the wrong way, sir. For what I know, you don't like when your name is pronounced somehow. So I will try not to say Colbert because your family name sounds really like a French family name. So Stephen Colbert. So she said that, okay, I like the fact that he goes, he has no boundaries. He is not afraid not to break boundaries and to go in some territories that people usually, they are really being careful. They are really careful on crossing or trespassing. And I really like that. It was a very little parenthesis, but I really like that she said that. It shows also that they didn't really go. They didn't only go for people who were kind of, let's say, sugarcoating her during the tour. Yes, they were going also for people who could ask, let's say, annoying questions. And so she was ready to answer the questions. So overall, this is my take on the documentary. I plan to buy the book Becoming. When I was in East Europe, many people there bought the book, and they also bought the book of Oprah. I was quite surprised because, when I first traveled to East Europe, the rate of racism there. So I wondered, they are really keen on buying books regarding, really, black celebrities, successful black people. I mean, I saw the book of Oprah. I mean, it was off the shelves. Becoming of Michelle Obama too. I was just like, okay. So for me, there is no surprise. It's not a surprise when I heard that the book of Barack Obama sold millions of books. People in the East Europe, whatever you hear about them, they like to buy, books and CDs regarding, produced by, let's say, written by successful black people. Maybe they're looking for the source of wealth or glory. I don't know. So, yes, I plan to buy her book Becoming. So he will join most of my book on the shelves. I mean, I like, for example, I have my Together cookbook. Here, as most people in the Sussex Squad, as you can see, I have my forces for change. So, and talking about books, I will quickly go on Omid Scobie books with 5 different ones. I like the fact that, the ladies on the Sussex Squad podcast, Tina and Michelle, and Easter Spring too, Mrs. Easter Spring, they spoke during their last podcast. They spoke about the fact that, okay, maybe there will be nothing surprising about maybe the book. Michelle at the point she said, and I do agree with that maybe something about like, okay, they met, the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex, they met, they decided this, they married, the wedding went on, and so on, and then, okay, the smear campaign started, so maybe there is nothing new about what we read inside. And I also do agree, I don't know if it's Tina who said it, I don't remember, when she said that, yes, maybe the book is also about what he saw as let's say an insider, as a journalist, with what was going on around. Because Omid Scobie is not stupid, so I don't think that he will just blast things that everybody already know outside. I think that he will bring something from inside that he witnessed, not just the hearsay that he witnessed as a journalist. So I don't know. I am torn between buying the book to make a review of it, or just wait. But wait for what? I don't know, because the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex will not endorse the book. So maybe waiting for the approval of the Sussex Squad. I just don't know what I'm waiting for. But I thought I'm really torn between this. I would like to pre-order the book to read and to give you my take on that. Okay, please let me know in the comment if you'll be interested. To maybe share about my perspective on the book, or my review on the book. And but I'm pre-ordering the book. Why? I would like to pre-order the book, or let's say I bring the Omid Scobie situation here because first, he is biracial as the Duchess of Sussex, and he has always called her the Duchess of Sussex or Meghan, and I really appreciate that. In maybe it was one of my first video, I said I really have a problem with people who keep calling Meghan Markle. She is a married woman. So calling her like this for me let me know that, okay, you do not want to acknowledge her actual status, which is maybe for you difficult to swallow, because otherwise you will just say, the Duchess of Sussex or Meghan. I'm not waiting for you to say Princess Henry of the UK, because she's princess, whether you like it or not. So I do appreciate the fact that Scobie always said, the Duchess of Sussex, Her Royal Highness, okay, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. These are details that actually